again, this is my ego talking, but I think Respect is a good biography of her. I think it represents, because it isn't just my point of view, it's a lot of people's point of view. I think if you read Respect, you get a pretty and deep understanding of Aretha, and I'm proud of the book.
Okay. Well, what was your relationship with the production that I was in?
I didn't have anything to do with it.
Why?
They optioned my book, and also Hollywood. Let me be sort of candid. Hollywood is not particularly interesting to me because I mean it's interesting to me, and I love to watch movies, and but as a participant, I don't have any control. I'm just a guy at home on a computer. I have no juice. Usually, people, if they option a book, they option the book and they go off and they make it, and there's a director and a producer, and no one's calling me to say, ask me anything. So I knew I was grateful to Harvey Mason Jr., who was one of the producers, for having optioned the book, and I know he had a high regard for the book, and I hope the book was useful to the screenwriters, but I have had nothing to do with the screenplay and have had no input, and I wish it well. I hope it's a great movie. I hope you're great in it. I hope Jennifer's great, and I hope it helps.
Well, she can fucking sing, dude.
I know. I mean, she is crazy good. So I hope it I hope it helps the legacy of Aretha. I hope I hope that the television movie on Aretha is great too. So I mean, I hope they're all great. But all I could control, I couldn't control the autobiography. So the autobiography comes out. She takes it over. She keeps me around, but she's really rewriting everything. The book is out, and I'm not happy with it because I think it's very superficial.
Takes out the dark parts.
Takes out the dark parts. Really doesn't own up to her childhood traumas. Then 15 years go by, and I just can't live with myself because I feel like I know the story. I knew John Hammond and Jerry Wexler. I knew her brothers. I knew her sisters. I did a million interviews. And I kind of feel if I die, who else is going to tell this story with the intimate knowledge that I have? And again, there isn't anybody else. And I know her. I worked with her for 2 years. So I made up my mind. I'm going to go out of my comfort zone. I'm not going to be a ghostwriter. And I'm going to write a biography.
Yeah.
And I knew it would make her unhappy, and that's what took me so long to do it, because I don't like making people unhappy. Yeah. Going back to my advertising client orientation, keep the client happy, but I just knew that I had to tell her story according to my understanding of the story and utilize all my intimate relationships with people who are close to her. So consequently, I'm proud of the book, and I'm happy I wrote the book. I'm not interested in doing another biography. I'm still, ghostwriting is my main thing.
Yeah, but she didn't like. But after that, she didn't talk to you anymore.
Nope, she was angry, and understandably,
right.
So,
and then also the other thing that it seems in the book that Marvin Gaye cuts you out of the loop on the royalties on Sexual Healing, and that was friction up until he died. What happened with that? How'd that resolve itself?
I won the case because I had a tape of us writing the song together.
Posthumously?
Yeah. I won the case and have been a co-owner of the song since 1989 or 1990. But that was an instance where Marvin was not well at the end of his life. He was not well, and he was angry, and there was litigation, but
and Wexler told you to do it. You were fighting Wexler.
Said, "Sue him." And I said I can't sue Marvin Gaye. Sue him.
Yeah. So I mean, looking back, obviously you've got the hang of this, and it's what you do, this ghostwriting thing, and you're sought out now. By a lot of different types of people. It seems that there are people that you loved doing and did because of your own need to do them, and then there's people that you do because you can. It runs the gamut. Jerry Lieber, Mike Stoller. You've done, Natalie Cole, Joe Perry, Buddy Guy. On top, Willie Nelson. You talked about. on top of the original ones that you were compelled to do, like Ray and Smokey and BB. And now, I guess my question, and kind of landing this thing, is that what do you find in creating these symbiotic, intimate relationships with all these different types of artists, primarily in music? What is the thread between them?
I think learning to listen. I grew up in a household where you waited for a pause in the conversation so you could interrupt the person and make your own point and win the argument. Yeah,
I have that too. Yeah, you learn how to empathetically listen.
Yeah, and listen with your heart.
Yeah. And you know what helps with that?
What?
Fucking meetings.
Yeah. Well, that's where one of the first places I learned to listen, because you only get to talk for 2.5 minutes to 3.5 minutes. And the other thing, you just have to shut up and listen to people. So I think as I look back over the whole career, what I've learned is to listen to people with my heart, be curious, inject humor is incredibly important. I think, I'm 77 years old. I'm going to be, next week is my birthday. I'm going to be 77. And as I look at, and I'm enjoying old age, I love old age and I feel, energetic. But to me, all this ghostwriting, and I'm doing more and more, and I'm loving it more and more. The thing that keeps me going is loving to listen, loving to be curious, and loving to inject humor, and not taking it all that seriously.
Yeah, I think that's what we share. I'm coming upon that very same thing with what I do.
Marc, most people who struggle with writing books, and people ask me, why are you so prolific? I'm having a good time. I don't take it all that seriously. It's a book. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I'm kind of playing.
What do you find all the artists as well? What do you find in common what do they all share?
They are driven. And that's the other thing that keeps me going. I am driven. You are driven. And I'm intrigued by what is the origin of the drive. What is the nature of the drive? And the answer is, I don't know. And I love the fact that I don't know, because I keep on trying to understand it. Why?
Isn't that interesting? You're willing to accept the mystery of God.
That's it. And also but
you're compelled to find out what drives people.
But I'm also willing to accept the fact that I may never know. I mean, just take you. I mean, you've done all sorts of things in your life. You continue to be driven. You continue to hustle your way through Hollywood and blah, 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 blah. Why? I mean, why didn't you drive sort of
into a ditch?
Yeah, as opposed to keep going down a highway and looking for right. And I don't know either. I mean, the idea of
how long have you sat with yourself? It's difficult.
Exactly. So all I can tell you is that I am grateful. I am driven towards other people who are driven because I relate to them and I'm intrigued by them. And in this world where it's so easy to be depressed and drive off the cliff and give up and not do shit, people like Philip Roth. I'm going through the complete novel, 10 volumes.
Oh, that's great.
Roth.
Where are you at?
Just driven. I've actually read a lot of the books earlier, but now I'm beginning at the beginning. I'm at Portnoy's Complaint.
Oh, wow.
Which I just loved it more this time than I did the first time. But the whole thing about Philip Roth, he's never stops writing. I can't stop writing. Why?
I know. Yeah. Sometimes I ask that question in two ways. It's not the curious question like I want answers. It's like, really, do we need more? Why? Yeah. I'm glad that guy's got enough momentum and he's famous enough to keep working, but Jesus, not getting any better, is it?
Well, but also I think stimulation, I want to be stimulated. I want, and I'm really grateful that I love Louis Armstrong as much today as I did when I heard him when I was.
Well, that shit's magic. You hear music, dude, and you hear music when you're 8 years old, and a lot of music just grows with you. You know, it gets deeper, it gets different, it means different things, you know, over your whole life, you know.
I agree.
It's quite an amazing thing. Look, it was great talking to you, Dave.
Hey, man, I enjoyed it. I had a great time, and here's a hug through virtuality.
Thanks, man.
I think this was one of the better interviews I've ever had, but I was pretty sure that it would be.
Thanks, David. See you soon.
Okay, great. Bye.
That was David Ritz. Many books. The one that I last read was The God Groove, A Blues Journey to Faith, his memoir. But he's also written books with or about Marvin Gaye, Jimmy Scott, Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, B.B. King, Etta James, Janet Jackson, Buddy Guy, Don Rickles, Jerry Wexler. It's all at ritzwrites.com, ritzwrites.com. Again, find gratitude if you can. If you can't find hope, let's just hang on for a little bit of relief. Maybe things will get back to something we are familiar with, something comfortable, or at least okay. I'm hoping for okay, people. Happy New Year. Here's some guitar. Boomer lives, Monkey lives, LaFonda lives. Shelton.